Hello, everybody. Taking a while for you guys to show up. There's Bulldog. What you doing, girl? So I think I have a topic tonight. I'm always telling you guys how to reframe your thinking process. Oh, look at that. Yeah, my puppy's standing here looking at me. Hi, Tinky Bell. Come here. Come here. I showed two people. Did you get your homework done, Bulldog? Well, are we going to have anybody on here? No. Oh, no. All right, girl. What are we going to do with you? I guess we're going to have to take your phone away from you, huh? Oh. I downloaded the Google thing you sent me. Are we going to have anybody here tonight? Maybe everybody's getting their kids ready for school. So I pulled 3 cards for Jonathan. That was an interesting experience. YouTube's been acting up. Yeah, maybe. So I pulled 3 cards for Jonathan. 2 of Cups. Knight of Pentacles. And the Ace of Cups. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Let me check my Gmail, see if they sent out a notification. Let me see. I have a notification. Yeah. Let me get RM2 on here. True Self Tarot, how are you, hun? How are you? So I think we have a topic tonight. You know how I'm always telling you guys to reframe your thinking process. I think we need to talk tonight about the power of your thoughts. Oh, don't feel lonely and sad. We're here for you. Girl, you can message me anytime. Hey Daisy, how are you feeling, hon? I keep track of you through Bulldog. Yeah, you guys know you can message me anytime. I had a message at 4 o'clock this morning from England. Oh, why are you sad and lonely, true self? Is a lot of that being locked up? I am getting better. I haven't done any readings, but I thought if we could do the spiritual talks in the meantime, because I'm always telling you guys to reframe the thinking process. So, yeah. Getting better, ladies. I kind of. So, for the last week, I've been dealing with some really, really bad dizziness all day, and it's like, what the hell now? So, I've been checking my blood pressure, and my blood pressure's been fine. I thought maybe it was a blood pressure medication. So, I cut my blood pressure medication in half, and um, doing better. Doing better. Okay, so let me ask you this, True Self Tarot. What if you had on your bucket list that if you had time to do, you would do? I'm kind of puttering around here. You know how papers pile up? Oh, I've gone through bags and bags of papers and papers from a file cabinet and just, yeah, trying to get things done, get rid of stuff, clear energy. Started reading a book to start we need to start getting a theme on these Friday night talks. So yeah. And you ladies can always Skype me. And Bulldog just had me download Google Messenger. Oh yeah. I think we're all doing that. Now, has everybody been very emotional all this week? Google Meet. Yes. We can do a 3-way on Google anytime you want, Daisy. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about reframing that thinking process. We may be the only ones here tonight. Everything in your life starts with your thoughts. So, 100 years ago, the book came out As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And it's interesting because if you go back and you look at some of the books from the 1930s and 1940s, they have some very, very pure teachings, no fluff when it comes to spirituality. Okay. So, um, this stuff is kind of based on what he says. So, everything we are starts with our thoughts. You don't like your life? Change your thoughts. So, what are you doing? So, how are you focusing on your own healing process, true self? What kind of, so why don't you guys tell me some of the negative self talk that you're telling yourself? Like you just said, I am feeling lonely and sad. Okay. That if you keep focusing on that, if you keep thinking on that, then you are going to bring in more of that, huh? Affirmations. Yeah. So some of the notes I made was so if you think negative, you will be in pain and also draw in negative energy. So you actually so what I've started doing, I'm catching myself more and more when these negative thoughts start coming up. I kind of say, okay, I'm sending you off to your higher good. Come on, ladies, help me out here. Interact with me. How are we going to do spiritual talks if nobody interacts with me? Well, everybody's dropping off. Did we lose Daisy and Bulldog here? I see you're still here. Okay, so what and so if you focus on the positive, the gratitude you give out will draw in joy and happiness, okay? And you create who you are with your thoughts and can change who you are with a single thought. And this is one of the things that I tell you guys when I do readings for you. You know, I'm here to encourage you to make choices and decisions. And you know, you could not like what I'm telling you in a reading. You can make a choice. You can make a decision, and you could change that in an instant. You can invalidate the whole reading. That's how powerful we are, okay? So start kind of keep a diary of how you're listening to yourself and how you're talking to yourself, okay? When you listen to your own self-talk, you can start clearing the negative beliefs, points of view, and limitations. Your outer life is a reflection of your inner life. You're not a slave to outside forces, okay? I was like, I was thinking about that today because it was funny because one of the girls was saying she wanted a, and I'm an admin on one of the groups, and she says, I really want to punch this person. And I said, bubble technique. Hold on, I got to let the dog out. You want out? Come on. Come on. You can't get out. Sorry. Go on. So she says, I really want to punch this person in the face. And I said, yeah, bubble technique. And somebody else goes, no, that person deserves it. You need to get in there and Muhammad Ali him. So they were talking about the difference between passive and aggressive. They thought it was funny, okay? Don't forget. So we have control over our thoughts. We have control of our feelings, okay? We choose how we respond to outside forces, okay? So your outer life, how you respond to other people and stuff, is a reflection of your own inner thoughts. You're not a slave to outside forces. Take control of your hidden thoughts and take control of your life. So when I talk about the wish card, you know, what you put out there, you draw back in. That's Still get tired. Okay. Yeah. When you focus on the gratitude, you're going to bring in more things to be grateful for. When you focus and you worry about things, you're going to bring in more things to worry about. Yeah. So all of your past experiences and how you were raised and how your self-esteem was developed, all create all those inner thoughts. Okay. And they create your points of view, your limiting beliefs, your limitations. Okay. And pleasing or painful, they're the direct result of your thoughts and how you react to what's happening. And suffering is always the effect of some sort of counterproductive thinking. It's a sign you are out of harmony with yourself and with the law of attraction, the law of your existence. Okay. Remember, we may not have control of what is happening with other people around us, but we can control how we respond. Stop blaming others for what's going on in your life and cultivate your positive thoughts and feelings. So when you get everything right in your thoughts and feelings, then everything's right in your universe. It changes your thoughts, your relationships to everybody and everything that's happening in your life. You know, it's like I had a gal that was going to quit work one time because she didn't like the supervisor we had. And I kept telling her, put her in pink, put her in pink. And she kind of ignored me. And then we had a snowstorm one night, and she lived like an hour and a half away from work. So she stayed on the couch at the house. And we talked about, again, put her in pink. So she actually sat down and visualized this person in pink. Pink hair, pink skin, pink underwear, pink everything, okay? So the next morning, we had to be to work at 5. The supervisor walks in at 5:30 in the morning, dressed in head to toe pink. She says, I went shopping last night, and I've never had anything pink, and I just was drawn to this pink outfit. So I had to buy this outfit. This girl's jaw dropped, and she just fell down in her chair and didn't even know what to say. Even I was surprised. Even I was shocked, you know. So remember, your thoughts become habits. Habits become life's conditions. Fear, doubt, indecision, laziness, meanness, blame, and hate turn into failure, violence, disease, and lack. Positive thoughts create courage, kindness, decisiveness, temperance, forgiveness, love, creation, ease, peace, health, and freedom. So let me read these and remind me to tell you about some of the health stuff, okay? You can't choose your circumstances, but you can choose your thoughts. So doing so, you know what? People can try to control us. They can abuse us. They can do everything, but they cannot control our thoughts. Only we do that, okay? So choose your thoughts. By doing so, you can indirectly shape your experiences. Then the universe brings you opportunities based on your thinking. Just remember, be who you want to be. And if it doesn't happen immediately, be patient. The universe will shift to support you. Okay, so yeah, here it is on health. Okay, so one of the things that we talked about, there's a couple books out there on health, and one is The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton, and another one is, what's the name of it? It's by Candace Pert. I can't think of the name of it. Now, Candace Pert is a health professional, and one of the things she talks about in her book is how you think, how you respond. So many people believe that doctors are the end all be all, and there's nothing else. Okay, it's almost like doctors are gods, and some people believe that cancer is not curable. Okay, so the ones that are positive and upbeat are the ones that survive. And there are people that if you tell them they have cancer, their immune system immediately shuts down and they die because of those points of view and those belief systems, okay? The fear will weakens the body and will destroy it, okay? Fear opens you up to dying. And then, like I said, there's my son-in-law is very upbeat and positive. They said he had stage 4 esophageal cancer. The tumor has shrunk. They're going in and do surgery. He's very positive, upbeat. He has a very good support system, and he's doing fine. And I really think that he's going to survive from all of this because it's that positive self-talk, you know. So just be aware of the self-talk that you tell yourself. Now, think of things with a clear purpose, set your goals, work toward that goal. This also helps build strength of character. I only got halfway through the book, but you know, we can talk about examples, hon. How your thoughts impact your success. Well, if you're positive and upbeat, you know, if you're open and positive, then you can ask the universe, what else is possible here? You know, sometimes we get so stuck in our own thoughts that we can't see any other possibilities, and it's good for you, girl. We can't see the possibilities. So if we ask the universe questions and we focus on the end result of what we want, and allow the universe to come in and fill in that positive energy. It's like visualize what you want and allow the universe. Hi, Jen. How are you, hon? Yes. Just to let you guys know, I'm going to work on the mid-month August love readings starting on Monday. Hopefully, I will be able to get through those because I tried to do a reading for somebody the other day and my energy just went. So, yes. So pay attention to that self-talk, hon. Pay attention. And Jen, I'm happy to see you. I hope you're doing well, hon. A couple of us went over to your work and was trying to see if you were there. I am doing better. And it's all medication-based problems, and it really wiped me out, and now I'm trying to just regain my health and staying positive and focusing on getting better. And I know I know I can do it. That's like my grandson said, "Grandma, you can't die yet." And I said, "You know what, Gino? I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. I got a lot of life to live yet." Thank you, Jen. Hope you have a good night at work, hon. So it's just, and the doctors don't know everything, and I'm fortunate that this the main doctor that I'm working with now is very open to alternative stuff. But this has all been yeah, this has all been medicine caused. I'm sensitive to everything. Love you too, Jen. We'll see Sunday if I feel like doing any readings. If we do, it'll just be a few, okay? Because I'm just not quite there yet. So it's been very interesting. Everything that's, yeah. And I read somewhere years and years ago that light workers are more sensitive to a lot of medications and stuff anyway. My body just doesn't want it. And medications that normally don't cause any kidney problems or heart problems or anything are causing problems with me. So, but I have a lot of living to do. And it's interesting how the universe works because I let somebody go, release them to their higher good, and all of a sudden I'm starting to get men talking to me. You feel over medicated. Okay, that's another thing we could talk about. Do you know how to use a pendulum, hun? Do you do so much. Do you know how to use a pendulum? Sort of. Did you ever used to do the ring test when you were growing up? This is how I explained to my niece. She goes, "I don't know how to use a pendulum." I said, "Do you remember how we used to do the ring test to see how many kids you were going to have?" She goes, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." You put it on the wrist, and then you ask if how many kids they're going to have, and you ask if they're going to be a boy or a girl. You can hold if you're right-handed, you can hold your medication in your left hand and use your pendulum to ask whether this is good for you or not. You don't trust the response? Okay, so learn to center yourself. So, what are you creating by not trusting the response? Okay, so what you're going to do before you use the pendulum, I want you to focus your energy about 2 inches behind your belly button. Okay? Keep your attention there. That centers you. That grounds you, okay? And then you're going to hold the medicine in your hand and you're going to use your pendulum to ask whether it's good or bad for you. Maybe you just need to talk to your daughter about your doctor about a different medication. You can talk to your doctor about maybe you need to take less. You can do this with foods to see what foods are good or bad for you. Keep your doctor in the loop. My doctors kind of think I'm kind of wacky and stuff, but it's interesting because this one that I'm working with now is from India, and he's telling me, yeah, I'm not worried about your homeopathy. Homeopathy's safe. He keeps telling me you're not taking ibuprofen or this or that. And I said, no, I use homeopathics for any kind of pain or anything that comes up. He goes, yeah, well, cool. He goes, that's safe. So that's his opinion. So you can try that. Try it now. Yes. unfortunate. And it was interesting because when I had the knee replacement surgery, I talked to the doctor ahead of time. He says, well, he goes, I don't know if homeopathic works or not. He said, I took a semester of it in school. Okay, let me teach you a healing technique for that also. He says, but if the homeopathic works for you, I'm not going to say anything. So instead of using the pain pills they were giving me in the hospital, I was using the homeopathic remedies, and they were working better than the pain pills. And one of the nurses freaked out and called him because I was using homeopathics rather than the narcotics. Yeah. But they were working better than the narcotics, and they weren't making me throw up. That's not fun. Okay, I need to do a separate video on this technique, but if you close your eyes, okay, you can visualize your body laying down, standing up, whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. You might try this while we're talking, okay? I want you to visualize, okay? I want you to visualize your auric field. I want you to see if there's anything floating around in the auric field. Okay? If there is, try to turn it green. And if it will turn green, then try to turn it white. That neutralizes it. Okay? Because you shouldn't have anything floating around in your energetic field. If it will not change to green, you can visualize creating the polar opposite. Okay, say if it's black, you're going to create a white one, same size, same shape, and then you're going to bounce them together and neutralize the energy, whatever it is. And you're going to do the same thing. Scan your body, the physical body. Look at your foot and see where the fractures is, and start visualizing like a little laser of green light along that fracture and healing it. And see if that doesn't help your fractured foot some. But scan, you can, if you have something in the body, I don't even fool around with that anymore. I call the healing angels to come in. Okay. I call the archangels to come in and neutralize whatever it is, and for them to remove it and close it up. Because there's a lot of people have implants, and you don't want to booby trap an implant on the spiritual level. Okay. That's why I asked for them to come in and neutralize everything. So let me know how your foot feels after this. So I never know what's going to happen. I taught a young man, my grandson was working nights, and him and his friend would talk, and this kid was ready to commit suicide because he felt like he didn't belong anywhere because he's into metaphysics and he didn't know anybody else. So they would call me at 1 o'clock in the morning, and we ended up talking till 4 in the morning. And so he called one night and said he couldn't talk long because he had to go to the hospital because his sister and his brother-in-law were in a car accident and they were in the hospital. And him and his dad had gotten in an argument. I guess it's funny how that works because he's ranting and raving at work about his parents and his dad kicked him out of the hospital, and he was telling my grandson what a jerk he was, and all this stuff. And when he sat down to tell me the story, he goes, well, he goes, my dad sat down and wanted us to do a family prayer, and I do not believe in prayer the way they believe in prayer. He goes, so I was kind of resistant to it. And my dad got mad and kicked me out of the hospital. And my grandson goes, you didn't tell me that part of it. He goes, now the truth comes out. You tell my grandma everything. So I taught him this technique. I said, go in and, scan the energy field. Ask permission first. Okay. When you work on somebody else, ask permission. Scan their energy field. Scan the body. Call the healing team, the archangels, healing angels, whoever you're comfortable with, okay? To come in and help repair the damage. What amazed me is, okay, he went in and did it, but he's not comfortable with the idea of angels. Again, he's just still trying to find his path and everything, and he wasn't comfortable with that. So he went in and looked at her brain and was running some healing energy on it, ran some green healing energy on it, and that was about 1:30 in the morning. At 3 o'clock in the morning, she woke up and she told him, what were you doing? She goes, I saw you. I saw you. She says, you brought me out of the darkness into the light. Oh my God, I cried and I cried. I cried. Oh, I said, oh my God, oh my God. So now they want to meet me. She says, can you go in and do that to my husband too? So he went in and did that. And these are very, very strong Christian believing people that don't believe in stuff like this. So this is going to be an interesting talk. So I am always in awe of how the universe works. We're given the tools. It's up to us whether we use them or not. Yeah. So what else you want to talk about, girl? We'll talk about this stuff a little bit more. Part 2 talks about experimental processes on how to notice your different kind of thoughts. Ooh. You lost me for a minute. Did you hear all of the story, hun? You can always go back and watch it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about tonight, hun? People are popping in and out. You did use the Petalin for your meds. What kind of answers are you getting? My niece had my niece is on kidney dialysis and she can't take a lot of things, but she had an episode of Bell's palsy and they gave her some medication that she could not even. She says, this is no existence. I'd rather just die than feel like this. So she went in and checked to see if the medications were helping her or not. And no, it was causing reactions. Okay. And she talked to her doctor and got off of them. But we did find out that one of the things that causes Bell palsy is lack of B vitamins. And with her being kidney dialysis, she is going to have problems with lacking vitamins and stuff too. So she's been taking, with her doctor's approval, she's been taking the B vitamins instead of the medications, and she's approved a lot. So, yeah. You might ask if there's something else you need to take. I don't know. I've been kind of recommended everybody to look into the black cumin seed. Your relationships. Okay, so what kind of thoughts do you have about your relationships? We're going to work on that thinking process tonight. Your friendships. So I was listening to a lady the other day. She's and I'm doing this too, but I can't really think. She says, sit down and write down 5 very positive people that you would like in your life. Okay? Write it down. 5 very positive people that you want in your life. And get rid of all the negative people in your life. And hon, if you're sad, that's usually grieving. So, have you tried the bubble technique for the sadness, hon? Because you're growing spiritually. Yeah. Hey, last summer I kicked out all the negative people in my life, and I've been alone all this time, you know? And now I've got this guy. I've been releasing everybody. I've been releasing everybody to their highest good. And I think that's making a difference. You know what else, hon? How do I manage? Just tired of everybody's crap, hon. Just tired of I don't want to say I felt like they were holding me back, but they were just. Being a Libra, I have a tendency to let people get away with a lot of stuff because I'm a peacekeeper, right? So I have a tendency to let people walk all over me. Now, part of that is being the peacekeeper, and part of it is my mom scared me to death about karma. She told me that I'd better do good and I'd better do right because God keeps a record of everything we think, do, and say on a cloud, and when I die, I'm going to pay for everything I did. So I think that's part of the process is turning it inward to self-love and self-healing. And that's what you're doing now. You're in hermit mode, and you're working on self-love. You're being forced to go within and find your own truth. Oh yeah, I carried that around for a long time, and I was talking about it with somebody, and she says, "You know what? She's You're a wise person to acknowledge that and see that that's part of what's holding you back." So, okay, message me about not being able to walk too much, because I have something that I could tell you about, okay? But see, we're going through the grieving process also. So, like I said, what I'm doing now, the people that I've been grieving, the people I've been sad about, the people that I have been crying over, I am releasing to their own higher good. It like takes the burden off of you. It's not your responsibility to make somebody else happy. Okay? It's not our responsibility. But yet, as women, we're taught that it is our responsibility to make everybody else happy. You know? We're responsible for everybody's happiness. And that's not true. Everybody is responsible for their own happiness. And you don't want to look for somebody that's going to complete you, because you're already whole and complete. You want somebody that's going to complement you. So again, just it's kind of reframing that thinking process, hon? Does that make sense? But I would try the bubble technique for the sadness. I would each person that you're sad about, I would take the time to go through and use the bubble technique on each one of them. Because you're not responsible. I had somebody message me. They said, I am separated from my mom. She's real negative. She's really sick right now, and people are making me feel like I should feel guilty because I'm not talking to her. And I said, you know what, hon? You got to remember that we can love them, but that doesn't mean we have to have them in our lives. I'm coming to that conclusion with some of my own children. I can love them, but I don't have to have them in my life. My oldest son's going around telling everybody that I'm old, I'm set in my ways, and because he's and it's all over politics. And it's like, I try to look at everything from both sides, because I'm a Libra. I got to balance everything out, and everything's out of balance right now. It's not just one party, it's all of them. We need to completely revamp our whole political system. Get rid of all the professionals and get back to the common man serving the people. Because everything is, they're all out of touch with reality, you know? And special interests come in and, special interests come in and write up all the bills for everything they want, and then they put it forth in Congress as the packages, as the laws. The congressmen don't even do the work, you know? So it's a mess. Oh, yes. So we were talking about this morning. It seems to be about every 100 years there's some kind of virus that pops up. You know, back from 1917 to 1920, we had the Spanish flu, and 100 years before that, I think it was polio. But the astrological alignments we have now were aligned 700 years ago with the Reformation. That Reformation created major changes around Europe. The money system even changed back then too. That brought to light, that brought sweeping changes through all of Europe. And we're still a new country compared to, you know, Europe and a lot of the other places, you know. So hopefully we're just going through growing pains right now. But again, stay positive. You know, like I was telling somebody today, don't invite me into a protest, but I will come if you invite me to a pro-peace rally. There's a difference. You know, while a lot of these places like Seattle and stuff are having riots where there are lots of violence, what was happening here is Colorado, even though we had a curfew, everybody was protesting peacefully. They were carrying candles, they were holding prayer vigils, and as long as they did that, the police backed off. They just didn't let them get close to the Capitol. They were very peaceful, very calm, and they would walk, you know, through the streets, and they would hold a candle rally. There's still riots going on all over, girl. There's still, but they're not so much riots. There's protesting. Okay, we've been having protesting here every day this week in Colorado again. But they're not violent. They're not doing damage. You know, it's more of a peace rally. It's if we focus on bringing awareness, if we focus on the positive, girl, I tried to go in. I tried to do a meditation to go in and talk to the virus when it first popped up. That was interesting because it was everywhere. And I went in and tried to tell it. I know that you have coexisted with animals for centuries. I said, but I need you to be aware that a lot of the hosts that you are finding now, they're not surviving it. And it was interesting because it actually expanded out away from me. Everything is energy. I thought all I could do is try. So, but I felt overwhelmed. If I ever did something like that again, I think I would want to do it with a group of people. So everything is energy. But it had an awareness. Okay. It did have an awareness. Just like, did you ever used to listen to Art Bell when he was on? It's George Nuri now. And you can hear him all around the world, but they talk about metaphysical stuff. But Art Bell did some experiments, gosh, this is a long time ago, to where I think the first one was a hurricane. He had everybody on the show visualize the hurricane downgrading to just a tropical storm. And they were predicting that it was going to be a great big huge category 5 hurricane. And yeah, as soon as they did that, within a couple hours after everybody visualized that, it slowed down and turned into just a tropical storm. And he freaked out. He says, I don't want to be playing with this because I don't know what kind of repercussions it's going to have somewhere else. Just like what's that movie where when they talk about the butterfly flaps its wings? Yeah. When the butterfly flaps its wings, it can cause change on the other side of the world. That's the kind of thing that he was worried about. But I think if we ask for all things to be in balance, that might make a difference. Yeah, the butterfly effect. And we can affect the weather. I know somebody that used to look into the clouds and evaporate them. So it's kind of interesting. My oldest daughter didn't believe in any of this stuff. She was resistant to it for years and years and years, and then she went through a divorce and lived with this guy, and he was from Lebanon, and he taught her a lot, and she started getting more into it and stuff, and we invited her to go to one of the metaphysical fairs, and that's when I first started getting into Access Consciousness. So her name was Rika Zimmerman. She had a little workshop at the metaphysical fair, okay? And they passed out spoons and forks for us. And she taught us how to do spoon bending. Now, if you asked me to do that now, I couldn't do it because I don't remember what. She just had us visualize it, okay? So it's funny because my skeptical daughter that doesn't believe in any of this stuff, she walked us through the spoon bending, and then I hear, it was her. She was the first one in the class that did the spoon bending. Oh, that was a trip. That was a trip. The spoon is just like it's soft wire. Yeah. Did you bend it? I still have my fork. I have the fork that I bent. Oh, you couldn't bend it? You know what? I bet there's videos on YouTube on how to do it. They have, yeah. I thought, yeah, that was interesting. That was very interesting. But it just shows, again, the power of our thoughts. Hey, Elle, how are you, hun? Again, that comes back to the power of a single thought. If you believe that you can do it, you can do it. So yeah, it's interesting. So we did a talk tonight on the power of a single thought. Al, you might want to go back and watch it from the beginning later, because I kind of want to do a little bit of a theme. Yeah, belief is everything. Yep. So we talked about a couple healing techniques. We talked about beliefs. We talked about the power of a single thought and how those thoughts affects even our health, our belief systems, our points of view, everything. Talked about the bubble technique a little bit. A healing technique that I need to do a video on. Are you all settled in now, Elle? So does anybody else have any questions tonight? Anything they want to talk about? That's what we're here for. Everybody can't tell me, let's do spiritual night separate, and then nobody wants to ask questions. You're building your indoor jungle? Oh. I am getting better. I'm going to work. I'm going to see. I tried to do a reading for somebody the other day and it just drained me. On Monday, I'm going to start. I'm going to start the love readings for mid-month. Maybe if I don't do it for, maybe if I do it more on a collective basis rather than a person, then maybe I can start getting those up. It's just getting medicines regulated. So. Started talking to a guy down in Colorado Springs. So this is what gets me. All the guys that are contacting me are younger than me. The Springs, yes. And I know he's from Colorado because he called it the Springs. He says he's been here since 99. He's from New Jersey. And I said, oh, he's not a scammer because he calls it the Springs. So he asked me what I was doing this weekend, so I left him a message, but I haven't heard nothing. So girl, I think he's more your age than he is mine. I don't know. I told him, I said, well, we could be friends, because he said on there his profile that he wanted women for friends, and we got a lot in common. I went back and looked at his profile. He meditates too. Yeah. He meditates. He's an artist like me. We were talking about art. He likes to do landscapes and abstracts. He does some pen work. So does anybody have anything they want to talk about in spirituality night? Well, we could talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Anything. It doesn't have to just be spirituality. I have some lady that messaged me that she was grateful that she just had somebody to talk to. I said, that's crazy. First husband was older than me. Second husband was younger than me. That was a trip. Been single ever since. It's like, what the heck? Yeah. You know, one of the things that I had to clear was men don't see me. So you might want to try clearing something like that. Okay, nobody messages me. I still want to do the class on the dark side of the light chasers or whatever book you guys want to do. We can, you know what, El? We can start it. I will let Taddy know. Is Wednesday nights good for you, hon? Is Wednesday nights good for you? We can do a metaphysical book clubs on Wednesday nights. Money, oh yes. I gotta write that down. Money sees me. That's brilliant. Wednesdays are good. Okay. I will get a hold of, I think that Casey bought the book, and I know that Taddy has it, and she's just been waiting. So Wednesday nights. And if you guys have suggestions for other books too, then we could do like maybe 2 chapters a night or something. But yeah, I'm working on the one I was talking about tonight was 100-year-old book, As a Man Thinketh. And I'm always telling everybody, reframe your thinking process. What you're putting out there is what you're drawing in. You can hear all the sirens going off. Instead of everybody going out and howling at 8 o'clock now, a lot of the people in Kiowa are out there honking their horns and blowing air horns, and that's awesome. Money sees me. There we go. Good health sees me. I don't know. I don't know. I think I think it was just part of the healing process of everything that happened. It started with the kidneys and turned into the lungs and the heart, and unconditional love sees me. Yes. Yes. And girl, if you decide you want to go to lunch one day on the weekend, let me know. We'll go do that. I have a car. I'll come pick you up. We'll go to lunch. So, true self. So, what you want to do, I think, at this point in time, hun, is pour some of that unconditional love on yourself. That's part of the healing process that you're going through. We'll take the little one to lunch too. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Tiffany. Did you guys just get notified? I am doing better. How are you doing, hon, with your side effects? And I know you've got your surgery scheduled. So, nobody's here tonight. I put on there no readings and nobody popped up. So this is what we want to look at, Tiffany. I want you to look at your points of view, your belief systems around healing. Okay? Because we were talking about this. Okay? The doctors don't know everything. Okay? Your points of view, your belief system around healing have more effect on your health than anything the doctors can do. If you stay positive, if you stay loving, if you stay very, very open to the healing, again, those points of view, those belief systems, okay, then it makes a huge difference. So my notes was don't buy into the fear. Okay. I was telling the story. I can't even think. Okay, there's a book out there called Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. And there's a book out there. It's Molecules of Emotion by Candace Pert. I was going to school for integrative therapeutic practices, which is bringing together Western medicine and alternative medicine. And that's one of the books that they gave me to read. And she talks about the molecules of emotion. If you believe the doctors are the health gods and that anything they say or do or that you believe that they could fix everything, then it affects your health, okay? People that believe that cancer is not curable, their immune system will shut down immediately and they will die. But if you're positive, you're upbeat, you're loving, you're putting yourself out there, you're making the effort, you're doing things for yourself, then you're going to be the one that's going to survive that cancer. So start putting that anxiety into the bubble technique and see if that helps any. Your tooth broke in half. That's not good. So, okay. Tiffany, try some Rescue Remedy. True Self, are you still here? This is what I was going to tell you. True Self, check out some Bach flower remedy called honeysuckle. Are you still here, hun? It will, and Tiffany, the rescue remedy, Bach flower remedy, rescue remedy will help with your anxiety. Wow. But flames can be healing too. That's the thing. Ugh. Okay, so and I somebody messaged me in the middle of the night, and it's funny because I hadn't thought about the rescue remedy for a while. We had thunderstorms here last night, and my pug, who is never scared of anything, all of a sudden this summer has been terrified of thunderstorms. So I and she knows, she's a poor dog. When she's got a stomach ache, I give her liquid ginger. When her little nose gets dry and gets bumps on it, I put bag balm on her nose. When I go to bed at night, she looks to see if I have anything in my hands. So when I got up about 1 o'clock this morning and set up and turned the light on, she goes, "Uh-oh, mom's going to do something to me," and she took off running. So I had to turn the light off, go back to bed, hold the rescue remedy in my hand, and grab her when she came back. Okay, so Tiffany, when you get a chance, go back and watch this video from the beginning, because we were talking about the belief systems and points of view and um, how they affect our health. Hey, Gypsy, how are you? So one of the things, okay, so Tiffany, why are you looking outside yourself for validation? You don't need anybody else to believe that you have those problems. They told me for 50 years that everything was all in my head. She physically lost half her tooth, but the anxiety was also in her dreams, hon. Okay, so because I can tell you what I did. Yeah, you're a dental assistant. Oh, perfect timing, Tiffany. Thank you, Gypsy. So, one of the things that I did for years and years and years is I told everybody everything that was going on in my life because I was looking for other people to validate me. And I listened to the doctors for 50 years tell me everything was all in my head. And then at 50 years old, I find out I have celiac. That was all in my head for 50 years. That's why I was sick all the time. That's why I had chronic bronchitis for 5 months every year. That's why I was so sick that I had candida from all the bladder and kidney infections. It's like, don't tell me all this stuff's in my head. And back then, they didn't believe in candida. That's I went to a psychic fair. Yep, I went to a psychic fair. Get this. She looked at my hand and she says, "Oh, you've got candida." I said, "What's candida?" She goes, "Have you been on a lot of antibiotics?" And I said, "Yeah, I was on antibiotics for 13 years. She said, "Okay." So I went and picked up a little book called The Way of Herbs. Changed my life, set me off on a whole new healing path. I learned, and it's funny because most people, when they're sick, they learned healing techniques and they use it on other people. Healers are usually the sickest people on earth. They don't use the techniques on themselves. But what I did was I started learning all these different healing techniques and using them on myself. Yeah. Gypsy, you might try some, see if this has helped. Um, try taking some black cumin seed. Good. But do some research on black cumin seed. It's in the Bible. It's called the miracle seed, and Tiffany's taken it too. It's helping out some of her problems, and I take it. And I've got a couple other people that are trying it and noticing a huge difference. But you know what, Tiffany? But maybe you came in this lifetime in order to love yourself enough to work on you and not listen to what everybody else is telling you. And your body doesn't hate you. You just so you weren't on here earlier when I was do you know how to use a pendulum, Tiffany? First thing I would do yeah, I had a tooth that was like an extra tooth and it's all growing together. Okay. So I would start by every piece of food, check it to see if it's good for you before you put it into your mouth. Okay? Because food affects your health, your mental attitude affects your health. Okay? When you are focusing on the negative, when you are focusing on the fear, then that weakens your body. No, your body doesn't hate you. It's trying to talk to you. I listen to my body. That's like this last week. Well, that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. So, what happened for me this last week? Okay, medications started causing all these problems. So, this last week, I've been dizzy. I can't do nothing. I'm dizzy from the time I get up till I go to bed. I can't do anything. I can't breathe. It's like, what the heck? I kept checking my blood pressure because I kept thinking it was the blood pressure medication. It was. But my blood pressure medication wasn't showing that it was when I checked my blood pressure, it wasn't showing that it was low. And I was dizzy like if it was too low. But I cut it down to half and the dizziness has gone away and my blood pressure is even lower than it was before. Your body's trying to talk to you, hon. Listen to it. Just listen to it, hon. And quit listening to other people. Oh.
Sure. Starting people.
That's interesting. You know, and I would also, I don't know. You've lost a lot of weight, but I think you just need to determine now which foods are good for you and bad for you. Okay? It's like I cut out the gluten. It started clearing up some of the health problems, but I wasn't getting better. And it wasn't for about another 5 years. I picked up the book, The Virgin Diet, and she's talking about cutting out, the other six inflammatory foods. And then once I cut out the dairy, I started losing some weight. And then what's worse for me than the dairy, well, I can't say that. The dairy throws my heart into AFib because it's such a bad inflammatory food. If I eat any of the nightshades, that just kills my intestines big time. Don't do gluten, don't do dairy, and I can't do nightshades, which is, your peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, potatoes. Yeah. I ate a potato the other day and thought I was going to die. It's just like poison. And a lot of countries believe that nightshades are poison. But there's 7 inflammatory foods. Peanuts, sugar, girl, they've been calling me to go for another colonoscopy. It's like, oh, hell no. Oh. As like I ask you guys, so many people were home. How many people went through spiritual growth because they had time to sit down and slow down and listen? And it's the same thing with the body. Girl, I was sick from the time I was, all my life, from the time I was born. I had constant ear infections as a baby and chronic bronchitis and pneumonia, and then went into kidney and bladder infections, and got into the herbal stuff and the alternative stuff and started clearing all that up, and then found out I had celiac at 50, and it's just, there's a reason. There's a reason for everything, okay? We just need to pay attention. We just need, and we know these tools. How many of these tools do we use? How many of these, yeah. I've learned all these techniques over the years, and like I said, I'm trying to teach you guys a lot of things. I would go in and, so I'm going to do a video on this technique, but I want you to start scanning your energy field. Close your eyes and scan your energy field. Okay? Anybody that wants to do it, we can do it now. Okay? So you're going to close your eyes, whether you're laying down or you're standing, whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? Just start looking at your energy field and see if there's anything floating around in there. Okay? If there is, try to turn it green first. If you will turn green, turn it white. That neutralizes it. If it stays black, you're going to create the exact opposite of it. Same size, same shape, only make it white, and then you're going to bounce them together and neutralize it. That should start clearing the energy field. You can keep going out different layers in the energy field to clear things too, okay? Then you can go into the body, scan the body, any place that you're having problems. You can call your healing team in. You can call the archangels of healing, the angels of healing. Call them all in to work on you. If you have something in the body that doesn't belong there, call in your healing team. I would call in the archangels, ask for them to neutralize it, remove it, and then sew you back up again. If you see anything implanted in the body, I would have them neutralize it first, because how many of us have implants? And a lot of times, if you have implants and you try to take them out yourself, you're going to booby trap it and cause other problems. And I was talking about that technique earlier, and some of the results that somebody had for two people that were in a coma with brain bleeds, and it brought them out of the coma. Even I'm like, wow, 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 wow. I'm just in awe of the universe all the time. All the time. There's always, every day, the universe wows me about something. Every day. And I myself use homeopathy. I use, for the pain, especially after surgeries, I use Ledum, like a 1M or a 10M Ledum. Works better than, girl, I could teach you some techniques. Just message me. But Ledum is a homeopathic remedy that's used for trauma, surgery, things like that. I use that instead of pain pills, and my doctor was good with that. But one of the nurses freaked out in the hospital because I refused the pain pills and was using these homeopathy instead. She freaked. She called the doctor. But he was okay with it. He says, because I have such a bad reaction to medicines. I was just so sick of the doctors telling me all the time. Everything was all in my head, and it's like, no, 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 no. No, it's not. It's not. It's just, sometimes you got to go in and do your own research. Just got to go in and do your own research. And if you would have told me I was teaching this stuff or doing online stuff, I would have told you were nuts. I know. I know. I know. But, sometimes, now this is the thing that people get mad at me when I bring up. Sometimes we come in to experience those things. Maybe at some point in time, we have judged somebody else for being sick, whether in this lifetime or in another lifetime, and we come back to experience exactly that. So it may not be that your body hates you. It may be that you're just clearing out stuff. Now, I would also check into the violet flame. Our karma. Yeah. So I just did this with somebody yesterday. Violetflame.com. Okay. When you go over there, you can sign up for like a 30-day, like a little mini class. And when you do that, then you are given the option to download the Violet Flame book. Okay, you can transmute karma. What I do, okay, I have used the violet flame for years. I don't use the prayers and stuff, but I do use the violet flame to transform situations. I might take something, put it through the violet flame, and have it transmuted into something healing and send it into the earth. Because who supports us, takes care of us, who could shake us off in an instant, who could totally destroy us in a second, is Mother Earth, who needs healing more than we do. Okay, so I throw every things through the violet flame in order to transmute it, to transform it into something healing and give it to the earth. Or if I have somebody specific that needs healing. So you may want to check into that. The violet flame was created specifically to transform karma. So I would recommend that book. It's a free book. You just need to sign up for the 30-day class. They won't bother you after the 30 days. Okay? There are tools out there. We just need to tap into them, you know? Can you hear my dog snoring? I have a dog bed here for her. Okay? Right here next to me. There's a dog bed on the couch. There's a dog bed on my bed. She's got to be under my feet, under the chair all the time. She's funny, poor baby. She's so tired of being home. I took her to the post office the other day and she was so happy. It's like we got out of the house for a while. Yeah. Well, you ladies have any more questions or anything else you want to talk about tonight? Let me know what you would like to talk about on future nights, and and I'll prepare some stuff. My puppy, my Tinky. Yes, tomorrow is Lionsgate, and my daughter was telling me last week, and she goes, it took me years to realize that one of my grandsons is born on Lionsgate, and it's interesting because he's the one that seems to be reaching out to me more about spiritual stuff. He's the one that took some kind of stuff that makes you have a near-death experience. He says, Graham, do this with me. I said, yeah, right. But it's one of them ones that you take that gives you a near-death experience. He said he went through the tunnel of light, and there was this great big huge being that he walked all around it, and there was no face. It was just a being that was wrapped up in like a blue-gray cloak. It wouldn't let him see his face. It's like, yeah, right. And my first thought was, well, that's because you weren't supposed to be there. Yeah, and when I mentioned it to my youngest son, he goes, yeah, I could watch stuff like that all the time on YouTube. They talk about it all the time on YouTube. And it's like, of course they do. So I was talking to somebody the other day, something that I had happened to me years ago. I went to a healing class and she had, gosh, I was a single mom, supporting my kids by myself, no child support, anything. And saved up the money to go to this therapeutic touch class. This is something that they teach nurses. This nurse was teaching the class. It was $75, and I saved up for months to take this class. So she has a bunch of crystals for sale on her washer and dryer. And this is I had that lack consciousness, that lack mentality at that point in time too. Can't afford this, can't afford that, okay? So I'm walking from the bathroom across where she has these crystals. My head went like this, my hand went, and I grabbed a crystal. I said, why did I just do that? I wasn't even going to look at them. So, I thought it was interesting. I thought, oh, wow, this crystal's interesting because it's got a bunch of little pyramids on the outside of it. So I put it on layaway with her and got it, and it's a record keeper crystal. And one night I was sleeping, I had been meditating with it, and I saw this light blue screen, very, very pale light blue. And it had another language written in it in white. And I woke up with a start. It shocked me. And I never knew what it was. And it never happened again, probably because it freaked me out. Usually when something freaks you out like that, it won't happen again. So I was talking to somebody the other day and they told me, oh, those are light codes. I said, what? Light codes. They said, yeah, watch some videos on it on YouTube. I said, okay. Now, have any of you taken my challenge to watch What the Bleep Do We Know? I did put the shorter version in the playlist under classes. There's one in there with the special stuff in it that's 3 hours, and there's another one that's like an hour and a half. If you guys would take the time to watch What the Bleep Do We Know, you guys would learn. You did watch it. What did you think, Elle? What did you think? Yeah, there's a shorter one. It's an hour and a half instead of 3 hours. You were shocked? Did you learn some things though? Nobody talks about that movie. They all talk about the law of attraction, but nobody talks about What the Bleep Do You Know? Yes. Yes. I had won some tickets. I took my older friend Vi with me, and she was so impressed with it. She took each one of her 4 daughters. She saw the movie 5 times, once with me and once with, yeah. Yeah, she watched the movie once with me, and then she went back 4 more times with her daughters. And she took her granddaughter too, so she saw the movie 6 times. Yeah. We have, and this is one of the things I'm talking about, we have more control with our thoughts, with creating our reality than we think we do. And that's what the first hour of the talk was tonight. You guys can go back and watch that too. Yeah. And if you go in and if you read some, oh gosh, what are the books? Greg Braden talks a lot about this stuff. Biology of Belief talks about how we create our reality, especially with health and stuff. That'd be a good book for you too, Tiffany. Is The Biology of Belief by Bruce Lipton. Yeah. A Rainbow Child. Okay. A rainbow child is, okay, when we're born, we come in on different colored rays. Okay. So you've got the 7 rays. You've got your white, yellow, pink, blue, green, purple, orange rays. Okay. So we all come in on different rays, and that's another class we can talk about is what each one of the different rays signifies and what angels and stuff they are. I think I can find all those papers. So we all come in on a color. Now the Native Americans for centuries have talked about the indigo children, the blue children that come in to change the world. Okay. So after the indigo child came the rainbow children that are encompassing the energy of all 7 rays. That's a cool book. Yeah. So I'm a rainbow child. I'm one of the early rainbow children. I came in to be a teacher. Like I said, if you would have told me this 2 years ago, I would have been kicking and fussing and carrying on and telling you were nuts. I wasn't even doing tarot readings online then. It's like that was total, total 720-degree shift for me. So a rainbow child is somebody that has come in all the colors of the rays. Now, I was talking to somebody the other day, and he was bringing up all kinds of other indigo children and stuff, and I said, I have never kept track of that stuff. And it's funny because he was asking me about his eye color. His eyes are blue, green, and gold. And this was part of one of the specific indigo children. I haven't kept up on all the different indigo children, but I know the Native Americans have talked about the blue children, the indigo children, the ones that were going to come in and change things. Did that make sense, Al? You know, you might have come in on the blue ray that is healing and protection, and it's Archangel Michael. I'm trying to remember everything. But yeah. And it was funny because I remember back in 1988 when they had the harmonic convergence. I was very, very new to this stuff. And they had a bunch of teachers come in and do talks. Yeah. Yeah. So a bunch of teachers that came in to do talks during the harmonic convergence. It was interesting because when somebody told them what ray they came in on, they were wearing those colors that day. They were kind of amazed. Yeah. Mine are just plain old blue. My dad's were blue with gold in the middle. Now my oldest, no, my youngest niece, her eyes are the blue with the gold in the middle, and my youngest son has the blue with the gold in the middle. And it's interesting because my oldest and my youngest have different fathers, but their eyes are almost black. And then my oldest daughter, her eyes are rust colored, and we couldn't figure out where the rust colored from. Her dad used to tell her she had wolf eyes. And then I went back to Iowa and ran into some of my family back there. They had the rust colored eyes. Anything else you ladies would like to know tonight? Yeah. Yeah. Bulldog has some interesting cards that she has developed, and it talks about people with unusual eyes. Oh, yeah. You know, if the only difference between us is if you look at the parts of the world that we all came from, okay? The farther south you go where it's hotter, the people are darker skinned because they acclimatize to the climate. The farther north you go, okay, the lighter skin, the lighter eyes, because they were covered all the time in the colder climates. So, and we all have a common ancestor in there, you know. So it wouldn't surprise me at all that they're half African American and blonde with blue eyes. Yeah, yep. We've just acclimatized, is all, to the different parts of the world. Tell me how intelligent the body is. There used to be a show called, what was it called? It was put out by the Seventh Day Adventist, and it was an interesting show. Oh, I don't even remember the name of it, but I used to like to watch it when I was young. And he did a show one time and talking about what a miracle our body is. It runs, it works. We don't have to think about taking the breath. We don't have to worry about the heart beating. You know, everything just runs, synchronizes. The cells do what they're supposed to do. Every part of our body is a miracle. So it's yeah, interesting stuff. Riddy, how are you? Yeah, I'm getting better. Just trying to regulate medicines and get better. Haven't done any readings yet. I tried to do one the other day and it just drained my energy, but we're trying to do spiritual talks. So, Hun, do you have any spiritual questions or any spirituality things that you would like to talk about tonight? We did a whole talk on some healing techniques. We did a talk. I did a talk on how your belief system, your points of view, your mindset affects every aspect of your life. Good to see you too. Next week, I'm going to, starting Monday, I'm going to try to get the love readings out for mid-month. I'm going to try to record them separate because if I screw them up, I don't want to have to go in and delete them. Didn't realize how, I don't know. It just been letting a lot of things go for its higher good. People, places, things release you to your higher good. So what have you ladies all been doing? I just been working on healing. Sleep paralysis. Ooh. One of my cousins used to do that. For him, the sleep paralysis happened when he left his body, when he went out and did soul travel. I don't know a lot about sleep paralysis, but that's an interesting subject. But every time he left his body to go out and travel, he would have the sleep paralysis. Because even when you go out and do soul travel, there's still a silver cord that comes from your body to your soul, to your spirit. So you have sleep paralysis, hon? So you do sleep paralysis? You have sleep paralysis? Oh, you leave your body to travel. Okay. When you do that, you need to make sure that you have spiritual protection. That's why it started getting scary. You have to have that suffering from it. Okay. I don't know, but it seems to me that are you okay? Do you ground yourself, hon? Do you have a good grounding technique that you could ground yourself in the morning and ground yourself before you go to bed? I would also look into some crystals. Okay, crystals. Okay. This crystal is called Indigo Gabbro. Okay? And what this does is it pulls your spirit into your body. Because sometimes, because I have a tendency to get ungrounded, so my spirit would be up here. And somebody told me to get some Velcro, visualize it behind my belly button and visualize it on my spirit and Velcro it back together. But this is called Indigo Gabbro. INDIGO GABBRO. Okay? Like I said, this pulls you back into your body. So I was starting to get spacey. I'd walk into a room, forget what I was doing, what I was thinking. Okay, this has stopped all of that. Okay, you might try this crystal to see if it'll keep you in your body to stop the soul travel. All you can do is try it, hon. That's all I can suggest. I will try to do some more research on it. Yeah. That makes sense, Tiffany. But yeah, this has made a huge difference for me, pulling me into my body. So this might, it's just a suggestion, it might help you to stay in your body. I would also, yeah, I would look into a good grounding technique, because if you're grounded too, that might keep you into the body. I would also ask your healing team to help you stay in the body too. I don't know. I'll do some more research on that, hon, okay? Wow. I do know, because we were doing research into grounding is how I found this crystal, and it was kind of interesting. There's something also out there called a dragon stone. My neighbor and I are supposed to be doing these videos and putting them up for sale. So this dragon stone is like the law of attraction. Uh, this dragon stone is the law of attraction stone, and whatever you are focusing on is what you draw to you. And I said, wait a minute, what kind of energy am I putting out there? And I thought, nah, I'm doing okay. Okay, so wow. There's let me see if I can find something. I would think that grounding would have something to do it. Five stones for insomnia, nightmare protection. It says tiger jasper is a stone to use if you have chronic conditions that are keeping you from getting a good night's sleep. Oh, I need that. What else? Crystals for nightmares. Black tourmaline, the grounding rock for night. Okay, I used to think I had sleep paralysis. Ah, crystal healing. It says, I used to think I had sleep paralysis. Ever since I was a little girl, I had what I thought were terrible nightmares. Now I'm not so sure. As far back as I can remember, I had what I thought were nightmares. Okay. Other times I seemingly wake up suspended in the air, floating out of my room and down the hallway towards what I'm not sure. I would try to move, to scream, to do anything, but no matter what I did, I was locked into the nightmare. Later, I would wake up in my bed as usual. When I would tell my parents, they wrote it off as bad dreams. So, what did they do for it? She says, the floating dreams went away. Oh, come on. It won't let me pull up the rest. Gosh, dang it. Okay, maybe this one. Come on. Okay, here it is. So she did research and all signs pointed to sleep paralysis. Sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. Let's see. Okay, so somebody introduced her to crystal healing. She used mala beads at first, mala bead bracelet at first. And then they gave her hematite, amethyst, amber. Thinking of the crystals only as pretty jewelry, I ended up wearing my mala beads and at least one other piece daily, depending on what matched my outfits. Shockingly, the sleep paralysis started to happen less and less frequently. Shortly after collecting my crystals, I moved into a house, and the sleep paralysis disappeared altogether. Okay, this is something else that came up. Do you know how to use a pendulum, Riddy? Do you know how to use a pendulum, hon? Try changing your bed around. Okay? Try changing your bed around. Okay, so ask your pendulum which direction you should put your head in. You should sleep with your head in. And see if that makes a difference also. You might also ask if there's any ley lines under your bed. Because if there's ley lines under your bed, that can affect you. You could actually ask an angelic team to come in and clear away the ley lines under your bed. But ask which direction you should be sleeping with your head in. See if those make a difference, hun. But I would also check into the crystals. Like I said, it's an indigo gabbro. Hey, I don't ever want to be without one of these again. I was so spacey. So there are some things you can look at. If you have ley lines under the bed also, or you can ask with your pendulum if there's ley lines under your bed. You could also ask if there's any running water under your bed in the ground. And you could ask the angels to come in and divert all that energy and see if that helps any, hun. Because ley lines, and there are also electrical, okay, and electrical outlets can also affect your sleep. There's a way to test to see if your electrical outlets are putting out too much energy. You have to buy a special tool for that, and I'd have to ask my friend the name of it. But you can also put filters on the electrical outlets to balance out that too. There's lots of things that could cause this. Lots of things. But like I said, the indigo gabbro would be the first thing that I would start with, and asking which direction that you need to put your head in and see if that makes a difference. You might have to switch your bed around. Because some of us do better with our heads sleeping in a certain direction. And let me know, hon. Have you talked to a doctor too to see? Okay. How old are you, hon? You're not going through menopause, are you? You're 24? I would hope you're not going through menopause. I would also have a doctor check you out. But I would start asking your pendulum some questions, though. I would start checking your foods, crystals. You can ask your pendulum if you need this one, you know. That's crazy. I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm just saying there's so many things that could affect your sleeping, hon. So many things that could affect you. Yeah. So start, like I said, asking which direction your head should be in. Ask if you need to move your bed. Ask if there's ley lines under, okay, under the bed, or there's water running underground under the bed. And I would see if you can get a hold of that crystal. Or even, yeah, because I think it said something about black tourmaline. Black tourmaline might be a little bit easier to get than, I don't know where this is based out of. Indigo gabbro. Hold on. It's called Mystic Merlinite also. Yeah, if you get a chance, Tiffany, go ahead and watch that shorter version of the... Okay. It's from Madagascar. Forms when magma cools into crystalline formations. So I would hope that it wouldn't be too hard for you to find. It helps with clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, prophetic vision. It won't let me go down any further. Yeah, it pulls you back into your body. Brings a full understanding of both our light and dark shadow sides. The purpose is to bring the parts of ourself that are exiled or shrouded in darkness into the light. During this process, one must embrace these negative qualities with love and acceptance and forgive oneself for the very things you may be wishing to forget. Okay. I hope some of that stuff helps you, Riddy. You have a good night, everybody. I think that if nobody else has any questions, we are going to go for tonight. How does that sound? Does anybody else have any more questions? I guess not. If you guys have topics, okay, I will let you know about the book club. I'll get a hold of Taddy, and I got to figure out how to get a hold of Casey. So we'll probably through Leo Fire. Yeah. And we'll see if we can get that class started, though. Yes, yes, yes. And I will do some more research on sleep paralysis. And yes. Okay, everybody, have a good night and namaste.